really hard to catch him.
Well, why would I put Tank in a situation like that when we can't do what we do? Because right now, if Tank don't get a knockout, it's gonna you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you know, because everybody think Tank got to knock everybody out to win a fight. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You with me? Because that stab is on him.
Oh.
What up, YouTube? Man, y'all already know what it is. It's True Grit Boxing News. Checking in with another video, man. Like I say all the time, man, I appreciate everybody that subscribe me and fuck with your boy. But hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe, and slam that bell notification so every time I drop, you'll be the first to see it. Man, topic of discussion, man. What's up with our boy Abdul Wahid, also known as Gervonta Tank Davis? Like, what's going on, man? The sport is really trying to figure out what's next for the god, man. What's next for the young king? Like, what's the move he gonna make next, man? Who are you gonna fight, Tank? You got a lot of options. You know what I'm saying? There's some that a lot of people want to see. There's some that a lot of people don't want to see. Like, what is it gonna be, man? What is it going to be? Now, breaking news, guys. Gervonta Tank Davis, also known as Abdul Wahid, his trainer, guys, trainer, father figure, Calvin Ford, came out in an interview speaking on Shakur Stevenson. As you guys just heard in the video that I played previously before kicking this video off, Calvin Ford, by the way he's talking, in my eyes, it doesn't seem that he has confidence that Tank can get in there and beat a Shakur Stevenson. He doesn't have confidence that he can stop Shakur Stevenson. Now, why is that, guys? Now, we know Shakur Stevenson is a very, very, very great boxer. Knows how to use the ring, maneuver around the ring. Good counter puncher. Keeps his stick out there from the southpaw. And both of these fighters are southpaws, guys. Shakur and Tank are southpaw fighters. But in Calvin's own words, he's saying that everybody expects Tank to go in there and get a knockout. So against a guy like Shakur, that's not going to allow us to do what we need to do. It's like Tank needs somebody that's just going to come in there and play rock'em sock'em robots with him, or that's going to fall into his trap without Tank making a fighter fall into his trap. So I really don't understand that, man, and I really hate the misnomer when you have good, solid boxers that know the sweet science of boxing, the hit and not get hit. They get categorized. They get labeled as runners. They're not runners, guys. They are great boxers. And ironically, it seems that a lot of these great boxers are black fighters. Because every time you got a great boxer that's able to hit and not get hit, that's able to move around the ring, they get called boring. They get called runners. They get labeled all of these things when it's not the boxer's fault that this slugger or this knockout puncher can't catch the boxer. It's not the boxer's fault that the slugger, the power puncher, don't know how to cut the ring off. It's not the boxer's fault that he knows how to box, stick and move, hit and not get hit, keep the distance. That is not his fault. That is boxing, guys. That is the sweet science of the game. And it's very disheartening, man, to hear a lot of people always want to call great boxers runners. Shakur is not a runner. Floyd Mayweather wasn't a runner. Sugar Ray Leonard wasn't a runner. Those are great boxers. Parnell Whitaker, great boxer, defensive, knows how to move, knows how to get out the way, knows how to be defensive minded, knows how to hit and not get hit. So when Calvin Ford is saying that Shakur is not going to do or not going to allow them to do what they need to do and knock him out, he's not supposed to. What do you mean? He's not supposed to stand there and allow you to knock him out. It's your job to go knock out that fighter. It's your job to go get him. That's your job, not Shakur. So that's just disheartening to hear Calvin Ford say those type of things about Shakur. So I guess Shakur is out of the whole scope of things. They don't want to fight Shakur either. First it was, we're hearing that Devin is not in their plans to fight Devin. Now also Shakur isn't either. When Abdul Wahid, Tank Davis, has a checkoff list, guys. Everybody remembers him saying he wants Devin. He wants Shakur. Just to name two that he mentioned. So now what's going on with his team? It's like him and his team is on two different spectrums. They think in two different ways, man, and it's kind of disheartening. So, doesn't look like it's going to be Shakur. We already know it's not going to be Devin Haney. So who's left, guys? Tank is supposedly scheduled to come back on March 30th to be the first fight for Premier Boxing Champions Al Heyman's stable of fighters on the new network of Amazon Prime. He is supposed to be on the first card to start off their new networking deal that they have with Amazon Prime, or it could be a fight before, but Tank is supposed to be the marquee, the big fight, because he has one of the biggest names in Al Heyman's staple of fighters. March 30th. So who is it going to be, guys? So one candidate that it possibly can be is Mexican fighter Jose Valenzuela, who is coming off of a great fight against Chris Primetime Colbert, Chris B-Hop Colbert. Jose Valenzuela stops Chris Colbert in their bout, knocking Chris Colbert out in spectacular fashion, guys. Put him to sleep after all of the talk, after all of the build-up of Colbert Primetime saying what he was going to do to Valenzuela, and he gets stopped, guys. And that was a rematch. In the first fight, Chris Colbert was able to get the W. He was knocked down at least once, maybe even twice in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. And Valenzuela came up short. Shockingly to the world of boxing, everybody was like, Jose should have got the nod. They rematch. Valenzuela stops him cold. And also, in the post-fight interview in the ring, right after he knocked out Chris Colbert, Valenzuela called out Tank Davis. He said that is a fight that he wants. So I think that might be the fight at the top of the list for Tank Davis. I think he's going to go ahead and go that route against Jose Valenzuela. It's a soft touch, him coming back after not fighting since April of last year. So I think Jose Valenzuela is probably at the top of the list right now for opponents for Abdul Wahid Tank Davis. And I see that being another knockout on Tank's resume. Easy. I think he'll be able to deal with Jose Valenzuela fairly easy. Another fighter that is possibly on Tank's radar and he might possibly fight is Frank the Ghost Martin. Now, Frank the Ghost Martin, I think that is a much tougher test. That's going to be a more of a chess match kind of fight for Abdul Wahid Tank Davis over Jose Valenzuela. I say this because Frank Martin has shown and displayed that he has very solid skill in the ring, guys. He knows how to move, he knows how to box, and he can also crack. He has good power. Although Frank Martin did not look his best in his last outing, but Frank Martin is still a solid fighter, a solid contender at the lightweight division at 135 pounds. So that is also another fighter that I could see Tank wanting to get in the ring and mix it up with, Frank the Ghost Martin. And that would be a very electrifying fight. Like I said, I don't think that's going to be as easy as taking on a Jose Valenzuela. I feel like Frank the Ghost Martin could possibly give Tank some troubles, while Calvin Ford is talking about Shakur being elusive and being a boxer in the ring. Frank Martin also has that ability to move around the ring, stick and move, and be more defensive minded first. So we would just have to see what that fight would bring. I still believe that Tank would get the nod. Tank would possibly stop Frank Martin, maybe late, maybe 10, 11, something like that, maybe 9th. It just depends, because Tank does have a way of wearing down his opponents and also making his opponents come to him, and he can set up those counters to get those knockouts. Another anticipated fight for Tank that could possibly take place is a rematch with Isak Pitbull Cruz. If you guys all remember, that was a man that Tank was not able to stop. Tank broke his power hand, his left hand, in that fight. It went a full 12 rounds, and Abdul Wahid, Tank Davis, ended up beating Isak Pitbull Cruz with virtually one hand, one arm, because we didn't see him throw that left hand after the 6th round. It was all jabs, movement, trying to shoot the uppercut with the right hand, things like that. And he was able to outbox a Isak Pitbull Cruz who was on the hunt all night, doing what you have to do. Cut off the ring. He got Tank up against the ropes plenty of times. That was trying to get off on him, just wasn't able to. And a lot of people actually saw that as a close fight, guys. A lot of people saw the Isak Pitbull and Tank fight as a close fight. So that is a fight that we also possibly could see. And I know for sure Calvin Ford has came out plenty of times and said that we made Isak Pitbull a star because he was able to go 12 rounds with us. We want him back in the ring so we can go ahead and knock him off of that pedestal that he's been put on. You know, so these are the guys that I believe that Tank is possibly going to fight next. It's not a long list of fighters. He has a few options unless he's going to jump in there with somebody like Shakur, which Calvin is already dissing that. Devin, they acting like they don't want to go that route. You know, even fighting Devin over in Saudi Arabia, you know what I'm saying, they're for a big bag. They still not even acting like they want that type of that type of bout right now, you know, when Tank's coming out and telling the prince over there that he will have to send him 2 Ferraris because he made him mad, which is just blows my mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty clear, guys, that we're not going to see Tank against Devin. After what Calvin Ford has came out and said, we're not going to see him against Shakur, which I really don't understand why. Shakur is WBC champion at 135 pounds. Why not Tank go ahead and fight Shakur for that belt? I mean, that's another guy that's on the list. That was another one of the 4 well, Shakur came up to that weight class, so I can't say he was one of the original 4 or 5 kings that we had at lightweight, but Shakur has always been in the talks to fight, be in the mix with any of these guys, with the Ryans, with the Tiafimos, with the Devins, and with the Tanks. So why not? So, guys, this is what I think is going to be next for Tank Davis. It's either going to be Jose Valenzuela, it's either going to be Frank Martin, or it's going to be Isak Pitbull Cruz on March the 30th, if that is his actual real date. That is what the reports are, that March 30th is the day that he's supposed to fight. So we should be getting an announcement real soon, guys. So that's all I got for y'all on this topic, man. Tank, let's do something, baby. Let's do something. Let's get in there. March 30th, bam, that's one. And I know we're going to see you later on in the year. Maybe the fall, you know, maybe the winter. We'll see. This is True Grit Boxing News, signing out with another video, man. Smash that like button, subscribe to your boy, comment down below, and turn your bell notification to all. So, once again, every time I drop, you'll be the first to know. Peace.